In this video, we would like to demonstrate the functionality of the Entity Model Provider. This new MatchPoint feature allows implementing SharePoint interfaces for external database applications that allow viewing, editing, and creating of records within the database. Our example will be a product database which contains detailed information on products and their manufacturers. We have created a portal site in SharePoint where we have implemented an advanced front-end interface for this scenario. Here you can see the configuration files for the solution. We will focus on files that are relevant for connecting our interface to the database. We have configured a composite web part that is used to display information on manufacturers. Then we have two data grids that will display product information. We also have a number of form web parts which allow viewing, editing, and creating new database entries. Most important is the model configuration. As you can see, we have configured the database connection string. We can also specify database access to be executed either by the current user, any other user, or impersonated. Further, we configured the entities of the product database, as well as relations between those entities. In our case, this is a relation from the product table to the manufacturer's table. These configuration parameters allow MatchPoint to automatically perform all the SQL commands that are required to interact with the database. Back on the configuration files form, we can see a refinement configuration and a search definition configuration. With these files, we can add functionality to search and refine. Now let's see how this interface looks in action. On our product portal start page, you can see a data grid that lists products from our database. We can search within this grid using the MatchPoint search definition web part and even use the refinement web part to refine the results. We can also use the standard features of the data grid like sorting, filtering, grouping, and so on. The configuration of a data provider that displays data from the entity model is rather simple. All we have to do is configure our web part with the model data provider and select the entity we want to display. Back on the page, if we click on one of the records, we can access the view form. The interface behaves just like a standard SharePoint view form, but the data is aggregated from our own product database. We can change a value and click Save to navigate back to the data grid. If we select one of the rows within the product's data grid, information on the manufacturer of that product is displayed in a separate composite web part. We can click the View Details link and see another form that displays more detailed information. Here we could edit this manufacturer's information as well. Directly within this form, we can also access a list of all products that are specifically from this manufacturer. Now if we select Add Item, we see the new item form for products, and as you can see, the current manufacturer is even suggested for the new product automatically. The Entity Model Provider allows you to integrate an external database application into your SharePoint environment, both for displaying and editing data directly from SharePoint. You can use this feature if the functionality of SharePoint Business Connectivity Services is not sufficient or too complicated for your scenario. You can implement a full front end for any database application without having to write a single line of code or even SQL queries.